They still smile when you walk into the room. They still ask how your day went. They chuckle at your jokes, sit in their favorite chair, and sip their tea just like always. Everything appears the same, but something has changed. And unless you are really paying attention, you may not realize it until the silence becomes permanent. When an elderly loved one quietly begins to say goodbye, they do not usually announce it. There is no big moment, no flashing lights. Just soft, nearly invisible changes. Their spirit slowly starts to fade like the dimming light of a candle. They will tell you they are okay, maybe even better than usual. But something in their eyes feels distant. And if you have ever lost someone close, you may remember that strange moment when you realized they had already started to drift away, long before they were actually gone. In this video, I am going to walk you through 5 small but powerful signs that may suggest a loved one is nearing the end of their journey. Not to alarm you, but to help you prepare. Because I do not want you to miss your final opportunity to say the things that matter. If this reminds you of someone in your life, tell me in the comments. Where are you watching from, and who are you thinking about today? Someone out there needs this message. Someone needs this gentle alert before the goodbye becomes final. Let us begin. The first sign is incredibly subtle, so quiet and tender that most people overlook it. They start giving things away, but not in any grand or obvious way. It usually begins with little things. A favorite book they have had for decades, a necklace they wore on meaningful occasions, an old photograph that stayed tucked in a drawer. You may think it is just a thoughtful gesture. I want you to have this, they say softly, placing a worn wristwatch into your hand. You smile, thank them, maybe even tear up. But what you do not see is the deeper truth. This is not just a gift, it is a quiet goodbye. A way for them to make sure that pieces of their life, their love, and their memories stay with the people they trust. They are organizing things in their own way. You may find them cleaning out drawers they never touched before, sharing recipes, old stories, or small keepsakes they no longer feel the need to hold on to. What stings the most is that they never say it is a farewell. They smile. They act fine, but inside, they know. They are slowly letting go of this world. One object at a time. It is their way of leaving a part of themselves behind before the final moment arrives. If someone close to you is doing this, take a closer look. Ask them about the stories behind those items. Hold on to those meanings. Because one day, you will understand, these were not just things, they were messages. Final ones. The next behavior is even harder to recognize, because it is hidden in the way they start to speak. Not in emotional goodbyes or heavy conversations, but in soft changes that quietly slip by. They begin to talk less about the future and more about the past. You will notice it when you ask about upcoming plans. Instead of showing excitement about birthdays or holidays, they will pause, smile gently, and say something like, "We will see," or "If I am still around." They are not being negative. They are not trying to frighten anyone. It is just that something inside them is shifting inward. They begin to speak more often about their childhood, about old friends, about earlier years. No longer here. Songs from decades ago suddenly feel more meaningful. They may mention things you have not heard in years, stories you thought were long buried, but this is more than just looking back. It is as if they are quietly reviewing their life, flipping through the final pages of a photo album before gently closing it. Listen closely to their words. Sometimes they will say things like, "I am proud of you," or "Promise me you will be all right." Simple, kind phrases that seem normal, but feel heavier when you realize they may be getting ready in their heart to let go. There's a softness in how they speak, a slower pace in their voice. They are not rushing. They are choosing each word with care because deep down, they know these moments of conversation could be among the last. And while they are still smiling and insisting they are okay, their voice is already saying something. Their body is not quite ready to express. If you have ever heard someone speak like that, calm, thoughtful, maybe a little too at peace, it may have been their quiet way of saying goodbye without ever using the word. What happens next has nothing to do with speaking. It is something you simply feel in the room, a change in the air around them. A quiet stillness settles, a gentle, almost sacred calm. Most people miss it entirely, but something is different. Time seems to slow down near them. All the noise of the world feels distant. When you step into the room, you may lower your voice without even thinking about it. You might sit down next to them and suddenly realize 5, 10, maybe 20 minutes have passed in complete silence, and somehow, it does not feel uncomfortable. It feels peaceful. The stillness is not just in how they sit, it is something deeper, something spiritual. Their movements become more slow, more thoughtful. They may sit by the window longer than before, just watching the sky, the trees, birds. Things they used to overlook now feel like moments of quiet reflection. And strangely, they seem less bothered by everything, less reactive, less eager to explain themselves. It is as if they have come to peace with something that many of us still avoid facing. You may notice them sitting quietly in a room. No distractions. No phone, no television. Just being. And when you ask what they are thinking, they smile and say, "Oh, nothing really." But the look in their eyes says more. It is not nothing. It is everything. It is acceptance. This stillness is not sadness. It is not giving up. It is something deeper, like their soul is slowly loosening its hold, getting ready to leave quietly. And it is often so gentle, so peaceful, that most people do not understand it until it is over. They say things like, "She seemed so calm that day. I did not realize it would be the last time I saw her that way." By then, the stillness has already become silence. If someone you love is carrying this kind of quiet peace, do not rush them. Sit beside them. Match their silence. Because that stillness may be one of the final gifts they are offering you, but the next sign feels different. It hurts in its own way, because it is not about what they say or do. It is about who they start pulling away from. They begin to distance themselves from the very people they love most. Not because they are upset, not because they are cold, but because of something far more painful to accept: quiet surrender. You will notice they stop answering calls they used to pick up right away. They might start canceling plans. Without giving a real explanation, they say they are tired, or that it is just not the right day. But deep inside, something else is going on. They are pulling back, not because they stopped caring, but because a part of them is slowly saying goodbye. It is as if they are trying to make it easier for both you and themselves. Spending less time together now so it does not hurt as much later. You might find them sitting alone more often, in their room or outside, their eyes fixed on nothing in particular. They are not really watching life anymore, but quietly disconnecting from it. Some days they will seem completely there, laughing, sharing memories. Other days, it is harder to reach them, even when you are sitting right next to them. It is like their spirit flickers in and out, between two places. And if you ask how they are doing, they will likely say they are okay. Not because they feel fine, but because they do not want you to worry. They do not want you to start grieving before they are gone. So instead, they pull back quietly, creating space between you and them, like the sea slowly moving away from the shore. If you are not really paying attention, you might think it is just a change in mood, part of getting older, or simply a quiet day. But if you have ever lost someone, you may remember that feeling, the way they started to withdraw, how you brushed it aside, and how later you wished you had just stayed closer in that moment. This quiet stepping back is often how the heart prepares for something the mind is not ready to face. It is not rejection. It is not cold distance. It is love in one of its hardest forms. Trying to shield you from the sorrow it knows is on the way. And the next sign, it has nothing to do with people. It begins inside their body. They will not talk about it. Not because they do not feel it, but because they do not want to worry you. Their connection with their body begins to shift. They start to eat less, gently pushing their plate aside, saying, "I am just not hungry today," or "I will eat later." Even if later never comes, the food they once loved, warm apple pie, their morning coffee, a favorite Sunday meal, now goes untouched. They sip water, nibble on toast, and smile as if everything is fine. But it is not about the food. It is about the body slowly letting go. You may notice their clothes looking looser, a ring that once fit now slipping on their finger. You might see them drifting off mid-sentence, falling asleep more often during the day. Their energy fades. Not all at once, but little by little. They walk more slowly. They sit a bit longer. They sigh more, not always because of pain, but from the quiet weight of time and the awareness that it is slipping away. Their body starts sending messages they may not even fully understand. A chill that does not go away. Breathing that feels heavier just getting out of bed. A distant look in their eyes, even when they are sitting right there with you. Still, they will say, "I am fine." Because that is what the strong ones always do. They do not want their last days to be filled with fear or sadness. They want peace. They want dignity. They want quiet. So they hide their pain. They cover the exhaustion grows, but they shift the focus back to you. "How are you doing?" they ask. They are still trying to be the caretaker, the protector, the strong one, even when their body quietly suggests that the end might be getting close. And here is the part no one warns you about. It all happens so gradually that you barely see it, until all at once, it moves quickly. One day they are sitting next to you, talking about old times, and the next, they are too weak to leave the bed. The change from having no appetite to not speaking at all comes on like a sunset hidden by clouds. You think there is still light left, but suddenly, it is dark. That is why these slow physical signals matter. They are the body's way of saying what the heart is still holding back. Often, they are the last clues we will ever get. If someone you care about is eating less, sleeping more, or pulling away from even the smallest daily habits, they are not being lazy, and they are not just worn out. Something deeper may be happening. Be with them. Offer comfort, even if not through food. Hold their hand, even if they say they are fine. Because in those final moments, your presence will feed their soul in ways a meal cannot. Your voice might be the last sound they hear. And when they finally close their eyes for the very last time, you will know you noticed the signs. You were there. You listened. You stayed. And sometimes, that is all they really hoped for in the end. If this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of someone close to your heart, or if you have already said goodbye to someone who showed these signs, please take a moment to write their name in the comments. Honor them, remember them. Let their memory live here, even if only in a few words. And if this video helped you look at things differently, if it made you stop and reflect, please consider sharing it with someone who may need it too. These signs are soft. Too soft. And far too easy to miss. But sometimes, just one video can help a family prepare, stay close, or be present before the final goodbye. We are building something together here. A place for care, for memory, and for love. Let us know where you are watching from. Subscribe if this message supported you. And always remember, you are not alone. Wherever you are, whatever you are feeling, someone else understands. We see you. We are with you. And for the ones we have lost, we will always remember.